Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast, is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show. Welcome back, kids. Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. You're looking at the three amigos here. I'm Tom Clark, joined as always by Jay Luft and Joe Higgens. We're going to do this salute where you do the thing, and you do the thing and turn and cough. We'll have to do a Three Amigos episode one day.
It is your birthday. We bought you a sweater. Yeah.
Yes. A plethora, really? Yeah. So we're distracted already. What can I tell you? Welcome back to the show, kids. You are tuned in to episode number 8 from season 2. We got lots to get into here today, lots to talk about. We talked a whole bunch off mic. None of that stuff was recorded, so you missed out. But needless to say, there's a lot of stuff to review here today, a lot of good stuff to get into, and a lot of stuff that will make you openly weep and embarrass you. So if you're a grown man who has a hard time weeping in public, you may want to watch this episode in private because, man, it'll grab your heart and just to it. You know what I mean? It's just one of those episodes. So get ready for that. Joe, running into this episode here as we get started, it's a big one, man, because we've talked a lot about Jamie and his evolution as a character. This is another stage in his evolution. And one of the closing moments of this episode with him and Roy is off the charts. What do you think about episode 8?
This is where, like, the Roy and Jamie bromance sort of really comes to fruition. And we see that, like, yeah, Jamie isn't an act with him. He is genuinely trying to be a better person, but you also understand why Jamie is the way that he was. And yeah, but then we get like some great Ted stuff. We get like a very nice Sam moment as well. And we also get possibly one of my favorite bits in the entire series, the haircut.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. There's some good stuff to be happy about here, Jay, but as we've said already, we've tried to warn everyone about this thing gets deep.
Troughs, man.
It does. Yeah. Hills and valleys. Jay, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I think that this is an episode. I was talking to you guys about this before. I completely forgot about the last 5 minutes of this episode. I thought it was a different episode, so I wasn't ready until I was like sat there watching it like, oh shit. Oh no, I know what's happening.
I text you, it's a proper cock punch this episode.
Yeah. But it's an interesting episode because it kind of lays all its cards on the table with the theme, like within the opening scene. In that it's Dr. Sharon on the phone to a friend, and she's talking about how frustrating it is with Ted because as soon as he starts to open up, he starts doing his Tedisms. And a friend just says, maybe you've got to meet him in the middle. And there's a lot of people kind of like making compromises and meeting in the middle. And you see it with Dr. Sharon and Ted. You see it with Roy and Jamie. You see it with Sam and Rebecca. There's a lot of kind of, okay, like sometimes you kind of need to work with other people to help them work with you. And by the end of this episode, that theme is a massive kind of like the massive spine bone of this episode, almost, you could say.
Yeah.
And, there's something to be said about, as you just pointed out, Jay, that a lot of the relationships, a lot of the storylines and angles in this series come in pairs. 2 people together. Sometimes it's 3, but most of the time it's 2 people. You know what I mean? So like, I think it's easier that way in a storyline of like 4 to 5. It can maybe be a bit too unwieldy. But if you're talking about, Ted and Sharon, Jamie and Roy, as opposed to adding 2 more to that mix, you can do that for a bit of time, but then you can't stretch it and maybe you lose the viewers. So those interpersonal relationships mean a lot here, kids. A lot of this show is psychology, in case you haven't figured it out. A lot of this has connections to pop culture, to novels, to other forms of entertainment. This show's got a little bit of something for everybody. And as we said from episode 1 of season 1 here on Two Nations, you need to have a pretty good sized shovel to be able to dig your way through this in the best possible way. So, yeah, as we said before, lots to get into. A friendly reminder, to follow the podcast wherever you find your podcast. If you need links, I'm not going to give them here to you. You want to know why? Because I'm lazy. I'm not really lazy. But I will tell you to visit boinkstudios.com. B-O-I-N-K, boinkstudios.com, one word. Go to that website, and we've got links to all of the podcast platforms as well as to our social media. So visit boinkstudios.com and get started. And thanks for coming on the journey. Gentlemen, if you're ready, let's tackle number 8.
Oh,
Let's go.
Oh, it's going to be good.
let's go.
Episode, throwing some Mario at us. That's good.
Yeah.
So take that, Chris Pratt. Here we go, kids. Season 2, episode 8, title Man City. Original air date September 10th, 2021. Directed by Matt Lipsey on a story by Jamie Lee. And as we have reminded you kids for the past 2 episodes now, past 7, there are 12 episodes in season 2. There we are, and here we are, and here we go. When last we left the Ted Lasso gang, we saw Ted finally embracing the help that he's needed from Dr. Sharon. Rebecca continued to be weary of answering her romantic interest on Banter, who we as an audience learned in episode 6 is actually Sam, as he suggested they meet, and she's more than a little apprehensive about making the move. Nate spent most of his time obsessing over his own press from the team's recent FA Cup win, leading him to berating Colin and Will as he continued the downward spiral despite interjection from Coach Beard. That sets the stage, kids, and here we go. As Jay alluded to earlier, the first scene of this episode does kind of set the stage for everything else. We open with Dr. Sharon, the great Sarah Niles. She's at home the first time we've ever seen her at home, I believe. And she's calling her own therapist, Bridget, telling her that she's going to be late, and they begin a session over the phone. And then, as we said, as you pointed out, Jay, earlier, that Sharon's complaining about Ted, that every time they get close to something, he gets close to being vulnerable, he fires off a zinger or some obscure reference to something very specific to a 40-year-old white man from Middle America. Great line.
Is it a therapist? I thought it was his sister.
I assumed it was her therapist.
I don't know. Again, doesn't matter. I just assumed it was his sister. I don't know why. You don't think of therapists having therapists. I think that's probably what it is.
Yeah, I think because it did it. I don't think it outwardly said, but I think it was very much like it could have been construed either way because the way she was talking.
Yeah.
Almost like the way Ted is with hair. That was what was quite cool about it, was that, like, if it was a therapist, she was very kind of like pally with that person.
Yeah.
And
also,
while
is there not some breaking of the hippopotamus oath there if you're talking about patients with another person? Surely that's not on.
That's an
I
excellent
suppose
question.
if it was in a therapy point of view and she's
Getting
saying
another opinion, which it's not relevant. I just move on.
Now you're hurting my brain now, Joe. Crap.
It is
But
interesting the fact that, like, she's almost like reflecting the way Ted is trying to get advice on this. And then as soon as she realizes it, when it's like, yeah, but you deflect with your intelligence, and she's like, well, actually, all right, yeah, I see your point.
Yeah.
I think this episode does a great deal of, like, kind of, if you weren't already endeared to the character of Dr. Sharon, really endearing yourself to her, because she's just great. We
find out a lot of information about her with not a lot of actual sort of stuff being given to you.
Not a great deal of context.
They don't hold your hand through it. They just go, make of this what you will.
Yeah. And as we pointed out during her first appearance in season 1, is that one of the things that I think that struck us as viewers is that we're already kind of getting attached to this cast, and here comes an outsider. So very much like with the characters, their defense is up a little bit. Ted's is especially. I think us as viewers, we're kind of like, who's this? Why is she hateful? Why is she mean? You know, but like peeling back the onion, we get to see there's a reason she acts the way she acts. She has to be professional. You know what I mean? But none of us are used to that. We're used to everybody's flowing and laughing and having a good time.
Yeah. People wearing their hearts on their sleeves, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I will say, when she's riding her bike,
yeah,
and she tells that woman about her jumper,
Yeah.
I was like, I'd have clotheslined her off that bike, sure.
Well, about the
Awesome.
dog's jumper.
Well, whatever.
Mind your dog.
Like, yeah,
she says he hates that sweater.
you're a human therapist, not a dog therapist. Get on your bike. Oh, you're already on your bike.
She tells you later in this episode that the bike is her happy place, and you can absolutely see that because she's feeling herself, man. She's smiling, she's enjoying the moment in the day. The music is in her ears, and she's loving life on her bike, man. Like, we all have a happy place like that, and this character, that's her. So, like, she's basically untouchable until she gets touched by a moving car.
According to the trivia for this,
Mm-hmm.
the actress, Sarah Niles, didn't know how to ride a bike.
Very true. She had to learn for the show.
And so had to learn to ride a bike. And it is kind of wobbly, like, but
Yeah.
I assumed it was because it was one of them Bromptons, like them foldy up bikes that,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't understand the point. Just walk. It's probably faster.
Ah, you would think so. Take an Uber. Well, Uber costs money, but you know.
Yeah. But yeah, she turns around that corner while she's on the phone. Again, not paying due care and attention to the road as well.
Right.
Well,
Dr. Sharon may be smart, but she's irresponsible.
When you're looking at the way, like, where she gets hit, you see she drives around that bit earlier, so it's as if she's just kind of like aimlessly riding around. It's not like she's or even if she's like taking a little detour just to kind of
have another go at that woman's dog.
Yeah, like lengthen the ride to work just because, as she says, like later in the episode, it's a happy place. Maybe it's just like kind of trying to sort of like prepare herself for a day.
Or I've got to do half an hour exercise on the bike. I'll just bomb around the park for a bit. Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, she gets hit by the car, goes down, and great. We always praise the camera work on this show, and it's well deserved. They didn't show the actress lying there. You got a shot of her arm. You get a shot of Ted's. You know, he's calling on the phone. They gave you just enough, and plus it's a little bit of a tease because you don't know how bad she's hurt. So they didn't show you anything but that.
It very much one of those blood on the asphalt sort of shots, isn't it?
Yeah.
Danger on one of those.
I mean, you get the idea by how fast she's going, how fast the car's going, that it's not
a bump.
It's a bump. It's not unserious, but
right.
Yeah, it is very well.
She's got a helmet on for safety.
Yeah,
that's good. That is smart. She's responsible after all. So the next shot is Beard and Roy. This is a very odd moment because we never get an explanation. They're just staring at each other.
Half an hour of them just staring at each other as a show.
We never found out what this. We have no idea. And here comes Keely bopping in. Says she has a fun new branding opportunity for a coach. It's only one public appearance, decent money, really good for the club. Wants to know if one of you wants to help me out. She stops talking when she realizes they're both just staring at her the whole time. She says, right, fuck you both, and leaves. And Beard says, I respect it. We didn't have to say a word. Roy says she gets us, which is fucking great.
I assume, like, because Ted's not there, like, Roy's just walked in and Beard's just gone and stared at him. And then Roy's gone, well, I'm not backing down. And Beard's gone, well, I'm not backing down either. And they're just in like a Mexican stare off. Like it's.
I feel like they're very much, you know, when you get some people who like go out for like a drink, and they'll barely say a word to each other all night, but they'll be having just a good time, just be having someone there. It's kind of like that.
Drink in silence, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that sort of thing where I feel like Roy and Beard genuinely like one another, but they don't need to say anything. They can just sort of be in one another's company and they just get it.
Yeah, for sure.
Beard's very, very perceptive. And I think he realizes that trying to talk to Roy on any level is wasted.
That's fair.
The best thing to do is project Roy back to Roy. Yeah.
Well, the good bit is, that's a good point. The good bit is Nate comes straight in, very happy, says, I'm going to be a spokesperson.
It's just like she's going, well, Ted's not here.
Yeah.
Nate'll do. Yeah. His little suit as well. It's later on, he's got his little suit on. He's bought a new suit. Yeah.
Yeah. We've been talking a lot about, and I said it in the intro, his downward spiral. I think the reason it works and is as effective as it is, because it doesn't, You don't get pounded over the head 4 episodes in a row.
No.
Pound, pound, where you can't breathe. You're like, oh God, I can't watch this. It's too much. They hit you really, really hard. Next episode, they back off. And I love that because they're smart enough to know it's too much.
You're left with that thing of, did that happen last time?
Right.
Because he's just doing Nate stuff now.
Well, there is like subtle bits, but it's nothing like it's again, as you say, it's not like hitting you over the head with it. Like it's like they've turned the heat down on it. It's just bubbling. You can see it's there still. Nothing's changed. Something's coming, but there's more important people to focus on in this episode than Nate. So they can sort of put it on the back burner a little bit while everything else is sort of like kind of.
We had the big Nate moment last time, so now we need to bring some other people in just to keep this going. But this is still there. Don't forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's that thing as well of like if they kept going Nate bad over and over and over again, it would be too much. Whereas the thing is, if you stagger it out, it becomes worse in a way.
Really like the subtlety of this episode with the Nate stuff though, because you only see it a couple of. There's like 1 or 2 moments in this episode where it's like, oh no, he's still there.
He's still there. Like there's moments of Nate being Nate from earlier on, but the mask is truly sliding off the face at this point because it's becoming more and more prevalent. Just those little looks, those little motions that he does are becoming more and more apparent.
Well, you get it here, guys, for sure, because he asks, where's Ted? And Beard says he left for an emergency. And he goes, what is it? And Roy says, it's his emergency. If he wanted us to know, he would have said. Actually, Roy says that, and Beard does the Beard point, which we have to point out. It's a thing on this show. He points to Roy in agreement. Nate says, we have an FA Cup semifinal at Wembley Stadium on Sunday. Who's running training? Roy says, me. Nate responds with you. And I'm like, as the viewer, I'm thinking, fuck you, Nate. Who are you to tell one of the greatest that ever played the game, at least in this show? You. Like,
Roy didn't stuff his head down a waste disposal. Like, you know what I mean?
You see as well though, like Roy's reaction to that, where he like, if he didn't get that call when he did, you could see he was probably about to bite his fucking head off.
Yep, and Beard probably as well. He's like,
and Beard as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says, me, I don't give a shit. It's how Roy says it. And then suddenly Roy gets a text and says, I have to go. Nate says, where are you going? Roy answers, none of your fucking business. And a Beard again points to Roy. Nate says, well, I guess that leaves us 2 to hear it. And Beard says, you can run training. Oh, okay. Yeah. And he's all over it. He's all over it.
You know, that was a nightmare training session as well.
Oh, yeah. Again, they didn't show us because...
No, but, like, stomping his authority all over it. And then also,
given what happens, it mustn't have been a good one either.
Good point. In the weight room, Jamie is spotting Colin, which is a nice gag coming up. He gets a call from his dad. Did you guys notice that when he pulls his phone out and sees dad is in quotation marks?
Yeah.
On the phone? Well done. And he doesn't answer. Sam gets a call from his dad, and he answers right away. Nice parallel right there. Sam's dad tells him that Sarithian Mola has just been ordered to stop operating in Nigeria, and Sam is the butterfly whose wings made it happen. This is going back, of course, kids, to episode 3, when Sam took a stand against the company, and the team rallied around him. Sam tells his dad that he only did it because he inspired him to. His dad agrees with this and says it's absolutely true. Jamie's hearing this convo from a distance and has stopped spotting Colin, who now has the bar down his throat and is choking. This is awesome. Sam takes out his phone and we cut to Rebecca and Keely in Rebecca's office. So a nice little... this sets up, gentlemen, what happens later with Jamie and his dad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally. But it's that thing of, like, you kind of... It cuts to Jamie looking at this conversation happening, and you're thinking he's going to be like, he's going to snap or he's going to yell or something. And he's just like, because seeing someone else having a lovely relationship with their father must hurt him tremendously because his dad is such an insufferable a-hole.
The look on his face, like, I think because of Jamie's track record, like, you worry, don't you, that like he's gonna be a dick to Sam about this.
He's gonna revert back to lashing out,
and
like he normally does.
You see, like he's more, I wish I could have that, than he is fuck Sam for having that.
Right,
like
right.
He's matured.
He's envious of it, but he's not like bitterly envious. He's just, I wish I could have that relationship with my dad, sort of thing.
Which my dad wasn't, in quotation marks.
Yeah.
Because Jamie used to hurt people because he was hurting.
Yeah. Well, so again, it's an ongoing sort of thread throughout this episode and like the rest of the series as well.
That's the truth.
It's the damage that parents can do to children.
So we're with Keely and Rebecca in Rebecca's office, and they're kind of lounging. Rebecca's on her phone. They're having a funny discussion about Keely saying that she hasn't found a term that she likes for when she tells people she's taking a shit. She says, "What do you use?" She says, "I need to reapply my lip liner. Men don't know what that means, and women understand it requires time and focus."
Time and focus.
Did that suddenly put in your head, either one of you were like, "Oh my God, that makes so much sense now"? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, no. It's not that. It is just one of those things of like, having done sort of drag and stuff, like putting makeup on is a chore. So round of applause to women who can, like my missus can like full face of makeup on like 15 minutes and look amazing.
Right.
I spent like an hour in front of a mirror and looked like a corpse that had been dragged through an explosion factory. Like it was, it's difficult to do. And men don't understand that. Like, I was like, I just wanted to do a face of makeup, and she was like, "Okay, you need this brush for this, and this for this." And I was like, "My God, this is worse than trying to change a tire. There's so many bits and pieces that you need." Yeah, well, do you want to do it properly?
To use a pro wrestling term, women have been worked 6 ways from Sunday by culture, especially in this country, that you got to look like this, sound like this, and wear this, and smell like this, and look like that, and wear your hair like this.
I mean, it's like, the thing is, though, like having a full face of makeup on makes you feel like it's not you. It's like you can present a front to someone. So I get it in that respect, but
sure.
Anyway, that's beyond the point. But yeah, it was the fact of like Keely, they're that sort of comfortable in each other's presence now. They can talk about having shits.
Let's be honest, Keely, I think was comfortable almost from day one with her because she was so enamored with Rebecca.
She came in, took her shoes off, lay on the couch, didn't she? She was like, this is just who it is. But Rebecca is 100% reciprocating it now. They're like a little master and Padawan style situation going on.
It's true. Well, Sam is feeling all kinds of motivated by his conversation with his dad. He's very happy. So he had immediately took his phone out to say, dinner tonight, 8 p.m. at Latucci, I think is this restaurant.
Latucci, yeah.
And so Keely's like, "Oh, say fucking yes, say yes." And so she says, "See you there." And because as he's doing it on Sam's phone, it's the 3 dots. And all the guys...
3 dots! And they all come round.
It's so good.
It was like, there's a lot of this episode as well of the team being a team, and I don't want it like a family. Like, it's gone beyond friendship. It's like they're all kind of invested in each other's lives, apart from probably Jan Maas, who is over there doing his own thing. Like,
he's kind of in his own little world. We're going to get that in a bit.
I think it's later on when Jamie calls him Jan Maas as well.
Yeah. I caught that. That's so good. Because at this point, Isaac has replaced Jamie as Colin's spotter, and they're all happy for Sam. And Sam looks up and says, "Captain, I'd like to ask for a haircut." And Isaac does this, and he looks around the room as if to say,
everyone stops what they're doing on the bikes and everything. Everyone stops, and he's like, "Are you sure?
Are you sure, bro?" And Sam says, "Yes, I think I am." And so Isaac Cola Bikini, by the way, shout out Cola Bikini, has to go, "All right," after training, like he's just, "All right, I agree to this."
Also, while he's doing all this, Colin is being strangled by the bar again.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that.
Shit.
I love that Isaac like told Jamie off for doing the exact same thing like 2 minutes earlier.
Like 3 dots, and she's responded. Like it's happening. Is this when we? Oh no, it's later on when we find out the legend of the haircut, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't wait.
We get more quality Rojas as well.
For sure. Yeah. We go to the hospital, and Ted has showed up for her. Shown up. Sure. Ted's there.
Either way.
He's talking to the nurse, and he says, "You're telling me I could shatter every bone in my body. Someone could just drop me off in front of any old hospital, dump to a garbage can or something, and y'all patch me up, and I don't have to pay jack squat?" And the orderly goes, "You're damn right." He says, "I tell you, I love this country. I love this town. Oh, did you know that Winnie the Pooh is based on a real bear from the London Zoo?" He can't stop. He's always turned on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that big. Because when he says that, Dr. Sharon comes in and she goes, "Oh."
Yeah, she goes, "Fuck me."
And she's been pushed in a wheelchair. And Ted, like, I think Ted does a Tedism here. He's like,
Yeah.
She knows it. He knows it isn't that bad, but
Sure.
he can't help himself.
Can't help
And it's, oh my God, it's worse than I thought. And then she's like, Dr. Sharon stands up. He said, "It's a miracle," and does his revival Baptist church thing.
He goes in a circle when he does it. It's so good. He said, "Thank God for science. Woohoo." It's awesome. Oh, he says, he looks at the doc. He says, "The doc going to be okay, doc?" He says, "Yes, the scan was fine. Good. No intracranial hemorrhaging? No. No subdural hematoma? No. You seem to know a lot about brain injuries." Well, I watched a lot of Grey's Anatomy in my early 30s. And I coach football. This is a good line. "And I coach football, the American kind, the one with all the concussions and hullabaloo about kneeling and such."
Yeah.
Which is good. She says, well, she does have a concussion, and she's had a couple stitches in her head. And she tells Sharon, "You'll need to rest, but your husband can take you home." Like, why would she assume? Do you know what I mean? Like, why would she assume that that's her husband? Sharon says, "He's not my husband." Ted says, "Ain't no rings on these fingers. We're just friends." Sharon says, "Colleagues, friendly colleagues." I love this little back and forth.
Yeah.
Sharon says, "I don't have a husband." And Ted goes, "Yeah, but not in a sad way. She's just fiercely independent." Sharon wants to lead. She doesn't want his help. And the doc says,
I'm gonna go. You don't have to be here.
Yeah.
And the doctor's like, no, you have a concussion. You can't leave on your own. You can't drive. Like, you can't leave on your own. Someone has to take. And she's like, "Fine. Like, it's either die in a fiery car crash or walk home with Ted. I guess I'll walk home with Ted."
Ted's helping her with her coat on. She goes, he says, "Let me help you put that on, sweetheart." Calls her sweetheart.
He's just
nice
doing,
little bit.
like, but because I was like, why is he being so weird? Ted, like, this is weird even for Ted.
Even for Ted.
Later on, we find out why, because they've given Dr. Sharon a load of morphine or something, it would turn out.
Well, she got a concussion. She's probably just chatting shit anyway.
Yeah. I said, like, just, I think when my grandma was in hospital and they gave her a load of morphine and we went to visit her, she was like, "A load of firemen have just been in here." And I was like, "Have they?" Yeah. They all went out the window because there was a giraffe. And I was like, morphine, hell of a drug.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I asked the nurse, "Is there any firemen in there?" And she was like, "No, she's just up to the eyeballs with opium at this point, though."
Yeah, when my dad was in hospital a couple of weeks ago, they'd give him a ton of morphine, and he thought, so the hospital that he was in, essentially they built the new hospital next to the old one,
right?
So they're demolishing the old one next to it. So he thought the old hospital and the crane that was demolishing it were a load of ships, even though he's nowhere near the water. He was like, "Oh yeah, there's loads of ships outside my window." Like, no, that's a crane with a wrecking ball and a hospital that's getting destroyed. And the other
Cyrus
thing
on the end of it, mate.
Yeah, he wasn't even facing the river. That's the funniest part. He was like facing away from the river.
I know. Yeah.
And the other thing, he kept saying there was a marketplace outside his room, and we were like, "Has there been something that's come through?" And they were like, "No, okay."
The tea trolley, like.
I literally said it. He said it was like an arts market, like it was selling arts and crafts.
Oh, That sounds wild in a hospital.
Yeah, and it wasn't. It's probably
it didn't exist.
Morphine's a hell of a drug.
I mean, it makes you wonder if this stuff can do things to people. Why are we giving it to people to begin with? It can't be good for you.
It's all irregular doses. It's fine.
Irregular doses. We go to Roy and Phoebe in Miss Bowen's office. This was the phone call that got Roy out of the building earlier. Hey, kids, Tom Clark here, and did you know the very podcast you're listening to right now is available on BoinkStudios.com. BOINK, Boink Studios is the home of Tom Clark's Main Event, Tom Clark's 6M podcast, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Visit the site today for links to every podcast platform, social media, special announcements, and a lot more. Check out the site and bookmark today, BoinkStudios.com. She thanks Roy for being there, and he grunts. He says, my sister works in the ER. She can't really pop out because there's always someone coming in with a knife stuck in their eye or a torch stuck up there. And she goes, yeah, okay, I get it. She's busy. She sends Phoebe off to do some coloring. Did you guys notice when Phoebe left to do coloring, she had that look like, I think I'm in trouble.
She knows
she got
what
up.
She's done.
Yeah.
Again, like the difference in acting between Phoebe and Ted's kid is worlds apart. Like,
it's true.
She's so good.
Oh, she's brilliant.
It's true. Miss Bowen asks about a personal question. She says, what about Phoebe's dad? And Roy says, oh, he's a piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit.
She says, well, is he alive? And Roy says, oh, yeah, sorry. He's a living piece of shit, which is so weird.
That's just how Roy sees the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're either a piece of shit or you're not. There's no real gray area.
Well, you're either an alive piece of shit
or a dead piece of shit. Yeah. She says, Coach Kent, we've got a bit of an issue with Phoebe's behavior. Roy goes, let's have it. Miss Bowen says, she's been swearing a lot. He goes, how bad is it? Today she called one of her classmates an apathetic shit fucker. Roy says, are they?
Miss
Bowen says,
not like, oh shit, maybe.
Yeah.
Just like, well, are they an apathetic shit fucker?
Does she have a plan? Are they? Yeah.
And the teacher goes, well, yes, they are. I was like, these are primary school children.
Yeah. You have any idea where she might be getting this from? And Brett Goldstein is awesome because he's like
the eyebrow raise
that long, and then leans in like, and he points to himself like he's shocked that Phoebe picked up cursing from him.
I don't think Roy realizes he does it. Like,
that's fair.
Have the running joke of like the tally.
Isn't it?
Yeah, but they have the running tally of like £1 for every swear word. But he just bungs Phoebe like £1,000 a month, and just like that's that done. Like, put that into your university fund or whatever. Like it because it's just that thing of when his eyebrow raises up, he goes, me. It's just like, yes, of course it's you, Roy. Jeez.
And when he realizes it, he goes, fuck. Like,
but it's like low, and he runs out of breath as he's
doing
it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I love the chemistry that Roy has with Miss Bowen as well.
It's really good. Yeah.
I mean, Miss Bowen.
Oh, she's like so into Roy and he just doesn't realize.
Oh yeah, he's oblivious to it.
You know what I mean?
He's oblivious.
Yeah.
She says this was her 5th offense. She got warnings, then isolation. Now she has to go home for the rest of the day. You know the influence you have on her. Use it. So Roy goes, oi, we're leaving.
Oi.
Phoebe apologizes to her and then asks Roy, again, guys, can we go get some ice cream? This kid she has an obsession with ice cream. Roy says, fuck no. And he stops and he apologizes. He goes, I'm sorry. F no.
F no.
And then he says, go on, scoot your boot. That he got from Ted. That's a Tedism. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. And then Miss Bowen, after they leave, she looks down and she goes, fucking glitter. So she's doing it too. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but you don't do it in front of the children.
That's fair. Thing, isn't it? That's fair.
Also,
yeah.
I have a weird theory that the ice cream place that they go to is a distance away, and they have to drive there, and it's just Phoebe's way of spending more time with Uncle Roy.
Like the ice cream farm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly like the ice cream farm.
Oh,
There's a farm that has ice cream.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It used to just be a farm that had ice cream, and now it's like they've expanded it. It's all kinds. They've got like a petting zoo there and all kinds of stuff. Outdoor.
They do deliver to me. I do have in my freezer at the moment. I have a Biscoff ice cream and I have a cherry, like a proper bits of cherry ice cream in there.
Did they still do the white chocolate cookie dough one? Because that one was my favorite.
Possibly, I don't know. If you want some, let us know, and I'll stick it in the freezer and I'll wrap it up and bring it over to you. Or whatever.
There's a place not far from me that does sell it, but it's just a pain in the arse to get to. So
yeah, you see.
So
but yeah, it's just this thing is like Roy has influenced Phoebe, but at this point we think the worst possible way. By making a sweet, adorable 8-year-old child do incredibly sort of Malcolm Tucker levels of swearing.
And I love that we get a little slight explanation later as to why she called the kid what she did.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Again,
perfect.
If this was Ted's kid, it would have been rubbish. But because it's Phoebe, A, it's brilliant, and also Roy is kind of weirdly proud.
It goes to show, doesn't it, when she says why she was doing it, he has imparted the swearing on it, but he's also imparted this kind of moral compass on it.
Yeah.
And it's exactly not so much to be rebellious; it's more to stand up for what's right.
Yes,
good call.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's like when he says, "Go, can you go and do some colouring?" She knows she's messed up and she's being punished for it. But we see the fallout from that later on. Yeah,
it's true. We go back to Ted and Sharon, who are walking together. Ted is carrying her bike on his shoulder, quite easily, I might add, as if it doesn't weigh anything.
It's a Brompton.
Are they very lightweight?
They're foldable, so they're supposed to designed to be carried. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
They're for like trains and commuters and
yeah.
What's cool is he's in the middle of a story, so we don't know the first half, but we come in on him saying, by all measures, it's not the cruelest prank ever played, but no one should ever make someone eat a Vaseline sandwich. But that's Ronnie Fouch for you, innovator.
That's Ronnie Fouch. We've heard Ronnie Fouch before. Yeah.
I thought we had. What did we hear his name in reference to? Because I couldn't remember.
Is he not? Oh, go on, Jay, because I'm not 100% sure.
It's something where he says, unless you do that, and then Ronnie Fouch will find a way to do it.
Yeah, I thought Ronnie Fouch was the kid who used to eat stuff for money.
That sounds right, actually. I searched my notes, but I couldn't find his name where I'd written it down before.
Give me a sec.
Crazy. Sharon says, how did you know I was in the hospital? He says, you left me a bunch of voice notes, 32 to be exact. She says, I thought I deleted all those. I thought those deleted themselves. He goes, I kept all those puppies. You should listen to some of these. They are a hoot. He takes one out, and it's great because it's her voice, and she says, Ted, it's Sharon. I can't come to the phone right now, but if you want to talk my ear off about some bullshit because you're too afraid to properly emote, leave a message. Beep. And she does the beep herself. Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, she's off a nut. Yeah. Right. Ronnie Fouch. I've just found it. I'll just continue as that. So, Ronnie Fouch was Ted's childhood best friend.
That's right.
In episode 103, Roy, I learned 2 big lessons on the rough and tumble playgrounds of Brookridge Elementary School. 1, if little Ronnie Fouch offers you a candy bar, you immediately say no because there's going to be pooping in it. It's not a Butterfinger.
Right.
And then 311, did Ted ever tell you he ate a candy bar made of poop? The reason we got pulled over in the same episode was because Ronnie Fouch was throwing gang signs at a cop car. and then we get in this one, by all measures, it's not the cruelest prank, but Ronnie Fouch will make you eat a sandwich made of Vaseline. And then there is another one much later on. So yeah, it's Ted's childhood best friend.
Man, that kid stayed with Ted for years. I'm telling you, all those
weirdly
stories.
As well. That is it's spelled Fowch, but there is an American football player called Ronnie Fouch who is Fouch as well, which I don't know if that's deliberate. I assume not.
Interesting. So this conversation that Sharon and Ted are having is great because Ted's saying, no, it's fine. He actually liked the messages. He found them entertaining. And he says, the next one brings Mr. Stephen Sondheim into the house because it's you singing Tonight from West Side Story, doing both parts of Tony and Marie at the same time.
And she goes, oh, okay. And he's like, oh, you stop after the first act. I was like, he's seen that she's like as vulnerable as, like, it's this thing of, I think you have to, for Ted to trust you, you have to sort of let him in, and like the thing has to be reciprocated, sort of thing. Like you have to show these not moments of weakness, but you know what I mean. It's that thing, and this is the first time we see Dr. Sharon in. She's concussed and possibly pilled up, but the first person she thought was, I'm going to harass Ted with 38 voicemail messages.
Yeah, it could. I mean, to be fair, if she's on the way to the session with him and she's like, and she's just been talking about him prior to that, it could just be that it's something that was on her mind. It's like when people have like an event like that, sometimes because they're thinking about that, they're like, oh yeah, I must do that.
But also, it's the fact that like Ted literally has all this embarrassing material on her now. Yeah. He's never going to show that to her. That's getting deleted after that walk home.
Oh yeah,
like, it's just to show that, like, thank you for, being you with me.
Well, I think as well, it's as much like, obviously Ted's got experience with dealing with people with concussions from his time in the NFL.
Well, we find out,
and he's probably realized she's probably kind of like freaked out by what's going on. And he's trying to just do whatever he can to take her mind off it, which is by playing voice notes of her when she's just like, got a concussion and she's in the waiting room waiting to be seen.
So good. So good. We go back to the dog track, and this is the haircut scene. Great music playing in the background to set the tone. Isaac's he's very stone faced. He's very serious. Takes clippers out of his locker, and Danny pops out the barber cape. Guys are all gathered around, and Sam is in a red chair on a big platform.
But he's on like the center of the room, and they're all gathered around like it's a ceremony, like it's this
so
big
good
thing, and it is just an incredibly beautiful thing because they're all doing and like it's the pomp and circumstance of like British parliamentary sort of nonsense,
and it's all very quiet. It's all very quiet, and he brings the clippers to life so they're that much louder because the room is quiet. And then suddenly, Jan Moss says, "What is the big deal?" And they all immediately, it's like when Groot speaks, when Groot curses, and they go, "Whoa!" Yeah. They're looking at him like, what? Like they're just completely stunned that Jan Moss would interrupt this amazing moment. Oh my God, it's so good.
Jamie's involved. Jamie puts the cape on and puts the thing on.
Yes.
Like he's 100% fully invested in this team. Like these are his buddies. They're his bros. They're his family now.
Colin says, "Not now, Jan." Right? And Bubbercatch says, "Isaac is an artist with those clippers." And Colin tells me, he says, he only gives you one haircut per season, so you try and use that for a very special occasion. Danny says, "I'm not using mine till I marry or I get circumcised." Which is freaking incredibly odd, right? They all react to this because they're doing that thing where they all go, "Oh, and someone says, "Quite right," and someone else whistles. It all happens very quickly when Danny says that. Oh my God, it's so good.
I can't believe you're using this for a blind date.
And Jamie says, "Yeah, what if you and this babe's only got textual chemistry or textual chemistry, right?" Chemistry. Sam says, "Guys, I believe this could be something very special." So he turns the clippers on. He's going to start again. Jan goes, "So we all just stand here?" And at this point, they're probably ready to kill Jan Moss, dude.
I love
groaning.
How angry Jamie gets by this.
Yeah.
He's like, "Shut the fuck up, Jan Moss."
Jan Moss.
John Moss.
Jan Moss. He doesn't even like. He's so northern. He doesn't even understand like
a soft
foreign soft J. Is it jogging?
Isaac takes a deep breath and then turns them back on and goes to work. And we hear Down by the Riverside by the great Mahalia Jackson, which is playing. Great stuff. And Colin says,
this scene is
so good.
Beautiful. Because it's nothing.
It's
nothing happens.
Yeah,
no,
nothing happens. Yeah.
It's the pomp and circumstance of it all and him.
But it's like, because it's so important to the team, it shows how united they are as well.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, no, they've all gathered to watch a haircut.
Yeah.
Like, and it is a thing. And like, when Isaac does a little, just trims it like
and they do the gas.
A millimeter.
Yeah.
And they're all invested, and it makes it a thing, and like it's just a really, really. Again, I think it all feeds back to like them putting the things in the fire barrel. Like, we need a thing, and like, I mean, as we find out later on, the haircut is sharp. Like, it's bang on. Like, but
Colin says it's like watching Swan Lake. So good. So good. And that bit where he's got a piece of hair and he just looks away and they're waiting for him and he just takes it off. They're all like, oh, they're like going nuts for him. It's so good.
It's like when he goes like that and then they bring out like 3 more razors in a little velvet case.
He doesn't even look, he just grabs one. And
it's the most ludicrous thing. But maybe Isaac's previous calling before he found football was barbering. I don't know, but it's just one of those really beautiful things that Ted Lasso does so well, of showing just men being like weird men together, and just celebrating someone having a haircut. It's so weird. It's just a beautiful thing. It really is.
It's awesome. And after this scene, Jamie walks out and he looking around, he stops, he hears something through a door and he opens it and it's Higgins. Funniest thing you'll ever see.
He slides away, doesn't he? Because he gets
a text off his dad asking about Wembley.
From Dad.
He does.
Have you sorted out the tickets for Wembley?
He does.
He slides out, so he's missing out on time with his crew as well.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, because he's got to go and sort his wastrel of a dad out.
Yeah.
But he sort of slides down the stairs, and then he's like, knocks on this door, and it's a janitorial closet, isn't it? Like, and Higgins, he's got his little pot plant there. Like, he's happy with it.
It's so funny. He says, "I'm just in here until my office exists." Until my office exists.
My office exists.
Yeah.
Because Keely's nicked his office, hasn't she? At this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Sharon took it first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharon took it first, but then what happened after that?
I think Keely's got another. Because he got offered. Well, I don't get what happened there, because he got offered the room with Nate, and then when Roy came back, he's back to office. Office like jumping. Yeah.
Yeah, something happened. I don't know. It's weird. But he tells him it's no problem. If I spill anything, I'm next to everything I need to clean it up. Jamie says, this is very, very sad. And that's when he asks Higgins about the tickets. Can I get my dad and 2 of his mates on the list for Wembley? And he says, family section VIP. Just put them in the car park for all I care. Just getting them tickets so they get off my back. Higgins says, fathers and sons, so tricky. They should really write songs about this, right? And Jamie goes, I think they do. Because it's Jamie, and you can't get through because he doesn't. And Higgins is like, yeah, I know. I was just, well, anyway. Like, he just immediately gives up trying to make a joke. Jamie says, are you close with your dad? Higgins says, ups and downs like everyone is complicated. Jamie says, mine's not complicated. He's just a dick. Every situation is exactly what a dick would do. Not much you can do with that. Know what I mean? Higgins says, I try to love my dad for who he is and forgive him for who he isn't. Whatever he may be, he's your father, which makes him a VIP. Which is a great little thing to say from Higgins to Jamie. It's a nice little touch.
Goes back to Higgins kind of being like the sort of like the soul of the club, doesn't it?
It does. Everyone
goes to him for advice, even if it's advice they don't really understand, like how important it is at the time. Like, you know, by the end of the episode, Jamie kind of like he sort of sees what Higgins is saying.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Higgins is great in the scene.
It's really good.
That's the thing with Higgins, is that he's always kind of portrayed as a fool. Is that because he's living in a cupboard that's full of bleach and other
Yeah.
poisonous equipment?
It's true.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but he espouses this wisdom to Jamie, and Jamie's like, "Thank you for that." Like, Jamie shows gratitude for the first time in a very long time.
Yeah, it's true.
And then we get the like, close the door, open the door thing. But it's like, yeah, like Jay said, like Higgins is the beating heart of this thing, but never gets the recognition he probably deserves because he's always portrayed as this sort of clown, put upon person. But the more as it goes on, the more people realize this, and it's a lovely thing.
It's awesome. This is a great little scene. And then when Jamie tells him that his dad's friends are Denbo, Cullens, and Bug. Higgins goes, Bug? He goes, just Bug, 1G, like the animal. Like the animal. Get that? It's his legal name. Changed it. Because he's small like a bug? No, because he eats bugs for money.
Because he eats bugs for money. And I'm like, this hurts me as a Mancunian. This hurts me tremendously.
He says, "Open it."
In a bug at one point.
He says, "Open or closed" on the door, and Higgins says, "Closed." You get less questions that way. Here's my footnote to this scene. He's behind a desk. His computer wasn't on his lap. First of all, how'd the desk get in that office?
It's a little tiny table. I have one in there that I use for emergency purposes. It's like a little TV table. It's
really?
Legs under. And yeah. He doesn't use his computer. He pulls a piece of paper out of a filing cabinet that's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? That should be your concern. Not how has he got a table in here? How has he got a filing cabinet in this room?
It was so much funnier when I was imagining a desk that couldn't possibly fit. In part 2, how did he get in? In part 3, how does he get out?
Oh,
now I find out it's just a table they can fold up. Now I'm disappointed.
No, because all his stuff's on there. Like there's pens and there's his pot plant and stuff. Like he's got stuff going on. I imagine Higgins he scuttles underneath it every night. Right?
Yeah.
Because he's like, I've got an office. Yes, it's near the stinky brooms and that weird pink sawdust they put on sick. But
yes.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's an awesome little scene. We go back to Roy and Phoebe now, who are in the car, and she got what she wanted. He's bought her ice cream after all. And she's thanking him for the ice cream. And he says, "You can't," dude, Roy's not looking forward to this. You can tell. He says, "You can't swear, Phoebe." She goes, "But you swear all the time." He goes, "Yeah. And it didn't hold me back because I'm a footballer. No one cares if we swear. It's part of the job. It's encouraged. But you can't be a doctor or a teacher or and she says, veterinarian for wild animals or a veterinarian for wild animals. I still don't get how that works.
That is.
You treat them in the woods and no one pays you? That's such a great line, man.
Like
I've never heard of such things.
No, it's like I literally have a friend who is a veterinary, like for small animals and pets, but he's also qualified to do like zoo animals.
Hmm.
And I went, "Have you ever used it?" She went, "No, but if I ever need to move on," and I was like, "To what?
To what? Yeah."
Don't the RSPCA have like vets who, like, if you call them up, they'll kind of go and treat a wild animal if you find one that's hurt?
When I had my pub down in Birmingham, I had a load of sheep in my car park, and I phoned the RSPCA and said, "Can you come and move all these sheep off?" And they went, "It's nothing to do with us." And I was like, "Well, enjoy sheep being run over by drunk farmers coming in trying to get beer at 11 o'clock in the morning." They were fine with that. So all those adverts on TV where they're like, "This is a sad kitten that we found in a well." Yeah, they don't care. They don't care.
Yeah,
I care about sad kittens in a well.
I do as well, but the RSPCA do not. Tom.
Well,
No.
they can saw it off then, I guess. I'll use that term.
Give to a local cat or dog or pet charity rather than the RSPCA because they're
Well, there
a
you
bunch
go.
of money grubbing shite hawks. I'm trying to
Shade
walk through,
throwing.
so-
Well, we threw some shade in
It's
there
not even
too, y'all.
shade throwing. It's just
I've been editing stuff lately, and we threw serious shade back in episode 2. Y'all go back and check that out. It was fun. So Roy's telling Phoebe, he says, "We spend a lot of time together. I was never trained on how to be around a kid. I get concerned that I've been infecting you." This line deserves an Emmy.
yeah.
I've been afraid. I get concerned that I've been infecting you with the worst parts of me.
parts of me.
Roy Kent out loud said that to a human being. That's how far he's come. I know it's his niece and everything, or but still, that's a big thing for him to say out loud. You know what I mean?
Oh, it totally is.
So good.
But he knows that he's a flawed human being. Like, we've seen that all the way through this. It's just a weird thing for him to say to a 8-year-old girl.
Well,
it is.
Who's eating ice cream.
I was thinking, do you think that part of this is him talking to Phoebe, but part of him is thinking what he needs to say to Jamie at some point as well? Because it's the same sort of thing. He's trying to turn Jamie into himself. Like, he's trying to mold Jamie in his own image, but obviously he's like Jamie's completely different footballer to her, so he can't really do that. He can get him to have the sort of like winding people up and the aggression, but he can't. Like, Roy's a lot more of a kind of sort of at the engine room, if you will. He's like the anchor of the midfield, whereas Jamie's kind of like the talisman of the team. So in a way, it feels like Roy's kind of having that conversation with Phoebe is what makes him realize he needs to step up with Jamie as well, in a way.
That's fair. I didn't put that together, but that makes a lot of sense.
I didn't either, man, and that's a beautiful little thing that happens, especially if you tie that together with what happens at the end of this episode.
Well, that's where I was thinking, because it's only because Roy has that conversation with Miss Bowen, and then Roy has this conversation with Phoebe, and then what happens with Jamie, and Roy's the person who steps up.
Because, and Jay, God, you got this before we even got there, man. How'd you? Because the next line is, she says, "That's not true. Uncle Roy, you teach me a lot of great things. I called that boy a name because he's a bully. And because of you, I stand up to bullies." That directly ties in to Jamie and his dad. Jay, you nailed it. That's well done. Man, I didn't even get that till now. That's awesome.
It was there, but
yeah, it was there.
I was lost in the fact that Phoebe was like, "I'm going to do swears, but also I'm going to stand up for what's right. I'm going to be like a sweary Batman."
Yeah. She says, he says, "Yeah, because you're better than me." She goes, "I'm as good as the best you."
My heart.
Dude, what?
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a fucking great line. And I know it's a line that she's been given, but it's such a line that a child can say. Line.
The way she delivers it's brilliant, though.
Oh, if that was Ted's kid, you're the best of me, because he's in.
That was Ted's kid, we'd be shaking our fucking head.
Yeah, it's true. She suggests, maybe we can stop swearing together. And he goes, "Fuck you." Just out of blue. He says, "I can't, but you can." And she just looks at him. He goes, "Pretty please." So he has to put that in there. She says, "Can you come in for one game of Princess and Dragon?"
This bit as well is one of the funniest things. Like,
yeah.
He says, "Can I be the dragon this time?"
There's a genuine desperate plea in his voice of, "Can I be the dragon this time?" Like, and like Phoebe's like, "No, you know the drill, Uncle Roy."
Well, she does it in his voice.
All right,
though.
well, as long as you fix the wand. And he's just like,
yeah,
she does
goes,
do it.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, we do get a low no as well. Yeah. It's just, I'm kind of sad we never got to meet Roy's sister, because I want to see her. Do we?
Yeah.
I thought we did too.
We're doing season 3.
Oh, well, that'll be a fun surprise for me when I get to it, because I don't remember. Because I just wanted her to be just Roy with knockers. No. Every
5 o'clock shadow and everything.
Oh, that's great.
No.
It's him in a dress, basically.
She's as handsome. She's as beautiful as Roy is handsome.
Like that really bad Adam Sandler film where Adam Sandler played the brother and sister.
Oh, why would you do that, Jay?
Why would you do that, Jay? Jesus, that's terrible.
It made me think of Adam Sandler.
Of all the pop culture references we could have thrown in here, we got to talk about that freaking. Oh man, hang your head.
It was the only thing I could think of at the time. To be fair.
Hang your head, shame. Ted and Sharon have arrived back at her flat. She thanks him for walking her home. "Thank you for walking me home, Coach Lasso. I'm good from here." He says, "Well, that's like that. 5th time you said that to me," which is good. He sees Did you guys notice that he sees 4 nearly empty bottles of booze on her counter, and they're way low too?
Oh no, there's like 3 empty bottles of wine and a nearly empty bottle of vodka.
Yeah,
Like,
they're way low.
That's a lot for a person
And
drinking who lives on their own.
And then he goes in the other room, and there's another bottle of wine in there as well.
That's right. That's right.
For me, living on my own, that would be normal. But for a grown professional woman, that's loads, I think.
Well, like, you can see as soon as he sees it, he sort of makes a comment, and like he stops himself from like doing like an actual Tedism over
a bit.
Goes, oh, look at this!
Yeah, he knows what it is. Like, well, he's not an idiot.
It's the first time, like as soon as Ted walks into a house, it's the first time you see like the roles reversed, and she's the vulnerable one.
Also, can I say, she is the psychoanalyst therapist for a first division football team. How nice is her flat?
I think the way
the team's paying for it.
Yeah. I think it was because
they're paying for it. He says it's like community housing, isn't it? Like, he makes a joke about it, and I'm like, her flat's nicer than Ted's flat.
Yeah.
She's got that lovely view out over that park where she rides a bike. And I'm like, Ted lives in Diagon Alley from Harry Potter. Right, it's horses for courses, isn't it? I guess maybe he asked for that.
I'd quite like to live in Ted's flat.
I'd like to live in Dr. Sharon's flat.
I'd like to live in either.
I'd like to live somewhere where I don't have to pay through the nose just to exist. But yeah,
I mean, you would with both of them because London.
She asks if he wants tea, and he goes, "Oh hell no!" Like with authority.
But then he goes, "Just because it's horrible." Like he's like, "No, it's not offered it. It's just because." How do you drink this? And I'm like, "Oh, Tom, you're gonna find out."
That's like the way though that she starts to sort of like go from feeling like vulnerable and like sort of exposed in the sense that he's seen a home, he's seen the fact that obviously she's like drinking a lot on her own, and you can see like originally there's a lot of shame in her face, but then when he goes, oh no, it's just that I don't like tea, and she was like, well, I can offer you wine or water. As you can see, I've got both. And it's like it's the first time. Yeah,
what?
It's the first time that like she's sort of like realizing actually if I kind of meet Ted at this at his own game, he's gonna be a little bit more receptive to me. Because she sort of awkwardly laughs when she says wine.
I don't know. I think I didn't see it now. I saw it as her going, he's seen me, like, because she's presented herself as this untouchable, unassailable rock of like thing, and now Ted has seen that. Oh, she lives in a flat on her own. She drinks a lot. Like, she's obviously not very happy. And I think with her, it's her going, difficult to explain. Like, it's a weird thing because
I think because Ted's not immediately judged her, she's let her defense down a little bit with her.
She's not had the opportunity to keep her defenses up because he's come into her house. But he doesn't judge her. He knows that. I think that's what lets Ted in and lets both of them become the powerful unit that they become. Like, because they've both seen that. Like, I think, like we said last time when Ted was like, therapists are all charlatans, and because you charge for an hour but you only do 50 minutes and all this stuff. And he's realized that she's just the person as messed up as he is.
Well, I think the reason that Ted, as well as obviously all of that, the thing that kind of goes unsaid of why he doesn't like it is because he's very much someone who likes to like get to know a person as well as they're getting to know him. And in that situation, he's forced to kind of lay all his cards on the table, and he's not getting anything in return.
Yes, but we've had all that now with the concussion voicemails and him seeing actually into her private world as well.
I was gonna say he doesn't judge her.
No,
because it's don't judge, don't be judgmental, be curious. Remember, so he's curious about her, but he's not judgmental.
Which is something he said.
Yeah, he does lots of just sort of stuff. Like he lifts up that book and he's like, oh, okay, and he's flipping about. And it's weird. Again, I've always said if someone came into my house and started just lifting up stuff, looking underneath the stuff, I'd be concerned.
So the thing that we've tried to do in the past is get the books. The book is The Middle Passage from Misery to Meaning in Midlife by James Hollis. So there's probably a connection there to something else, but that's the book she's currently reading. Do you love films that have the same plot over and over and over and over again with only slightly different looking people in the main roles, but just don't have time to watch them all? You do? Then simply listen to Hallmark of Greatness, the only podcast that takes you through such masterpieces as Love at Sea, Love at Christmas, and A Volcano Sacrifice for Love. See a pattern here? Available wherever you get podcasts from, and also find us on social media by looking for Hallmark of Greatness. He asked her about maybe getting a new bike. Or are you going to lay off riding for a bit? She doesn't know. She says, well, I hope you get back on that. And then we get another Tedism. I hope you get back on that horse. And by horse, I mean bicycle. Although, how cool would it be if you started riding a horse to work? Everybody starts calling you Dr. Sharon Horsewoman, or, becomes your hook. And then, she's trying to shoo him out the door. But he takes the water to drink the water that she gave him. And it's this uncomfortable comedy bit where you can hear him swallowing as he's drinking.
If you've ever listened to Hallmark of Greatness, you know how much I hate wet mouth noise. I was gonna do a swear. I hated this bit because it's so. There's no way that glass of water took that long to drink.
As someone who has listened to Hallmark of Greatness, I was waiting for the Joe to go on a tirade.
Yeah. I was just like, he's doing that on purpose, or they've elongated out like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to make the scene more awkward. Just
to make the scene. I know why they've done it, but I did not hear a need.
Maybe to upset you in the process as well.
Well, that's fair. Well, she finally gets him out of there after you can tell. She knows he's in her space, so maybe she's feeling like, all right, that's enough. That's enough. You shouldn't even be in my house. Let's go. Which, can't get mad at her for that. You kind of understand it. But she shows him out finally, and we go to dinner. We finally get the big reveal here, kids. Rebecca's in her car outside the restaurant. Keely calls her. She FaceTimes her, and it's her with the beauty mask, and she's all up in the phone. It's so good.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Because Rebecca goes, ugh. And I'm like, Keely, even with a face mask on, she's still adorable.
She is.
She's still as cute as a button.
Yeah.
And she's like, why have you answered the phone? You should be in there on your hot date. And she's like, I'm nervous. And I get it, because Rebecca is a very, very broken woman.
It's true.
No,
she's still picking up the pieces. Yeah,
well,
she's still picking up the pieces.
I think as well, it's a completely different scenario for her, isn't it? The whole when she's done the whole presenting herself, walking in the room, everyone knows exactly who she is and what she looks like.
That thing, yeah.
Yeah. But everyone knows who she is, what she looks like, what her whole deal is. Where she's literally going into uncharted territory. This guy doesn't know what she looks like, what her whole deal is. She's literally completely out of her comfort zone.
I never drew those dots, but yeah, it is. It's a foreign concept for her. Yeah, man.
Jay, that cold medicine's doing wonders for your work today. Well done.
Any firefighters punching some dock workers outside your window at this moment?
Not right now, about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, it's funny. That's funny.
No, this is my work of art.
Keely says, I'm going to hang up. You're going to get in there.
Keely just does Keely shit. And she's like,
she does.
Tremendous. I don't know.
So good.
Oh, it's so lovely.
She's been there for her from season 1. She was there for her when Rebecca didn't deserve anybody because she was plotting against everybody. Do you know what I mean?
if you go back and listen to the end of season 1 when we find out about the betrayal of Rebecca to Keely, and like it hurt us all. Like it is. But Rebecca owned up. She's a big person now. She's a grown up, and Keely respects that, and they are busy mates. You know,
true.
But also, Sam Obasanya in that suit and Rebecca in that dress. I mean, I'd be like, I'll be the lucky Pierre in that sandwich.
They're two immensely beautiful people, and I'm like, this how you know it's TV.
I wouldn't even get near them, Tom. They would have.
I'd
with the ugly brush. Get out of here, you uggo. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd same. I'm like, this is why it's a TV show. These people don't exist in real life. It's not. You know what I mean? This isn't real. I love this show, but I'm like, yeah, stop it. I can't stand this. They're too effing beautiful. Get this off my TV. I can't handle it.
It's me hanging around outside a Lidl, yelling at people, going, "Be more attractive."
They're so awkward together because they bump into each other. They both are meeting someone, and
it's so good though.
It
sounds
is
like, oh, hello, Miss. And he's like, sorry, Rebecca, like, because, and like, yeah, I'm just, and it's so cute.
Well,
she really tells him great haircut as well.
I was going to say, with the awkwardness, like he says she looks beautiful and she says, your hair looks great.
Yeah.
And it's like that awkward small talk before the realization is so good, because when the realization hits and Sam eventually talks around, then all the awkwardness is gone.
It's so big.
They sit there and she's like, oh, well, I'm not going to disrupt you from your evening. And but then she goes, "Oh, Keely says hello." Like even though she's not going to disrupt him, Keely's here as well. And then she sends a message to him, or vice versa, and they both hear the chime.
Yeah, he says,
and we get this good long shot of them both like going
slowly turning around.
Yeah,
yeah. He sends her a message saying, "I'm at the bar, blue suit," and then Rebecca just like. He hears Rebecca's phone go off, and Rebecca goes, "Oh shit!"
And she's like, "No, I can't do this. What are you, 21?
24? And he goes, 24, and he says 21.
I got them around, but yeah.
Oh my god, I'm a pedophile.
And that again, second pedo reference in 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah. She's like, I've groomed you. And he says, all those messages, I was grooming you. So good.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
As well, like Sam's again, like it shows Rebecca's like out of her comfort zone completely with this, because Sam's like so cool about it all. He's just like, well, look, fair enough. If you don't feel comfortable with this being a date, we can just say, if anyone asks, we can just say we bumped into each other and we both hungry and on our own, and asked each other if we could join each other.
Yeah, and she just goes, I am quite hungry. And then we get that lovely montage of them just chatting and laughing and eating food, and like it's a really lovely thing.
And he's been taken with her for a while because she is gorgeous.
Yeah,
I think they're both sort of like, because you've got to think that while they're sitting there eating that food as well, they'll be like, well, we had all these back and forth conversations on
banter.
Like we must have something, like, because at no point has he sent me a picture of his penis. You know what I mean?
That's a big deal.
Apparently so.
Evidently so. Yeah, it's a great moment. There's a song playing. It's "Loving Is Easy" by Rex Orange County. Is playing in the background. They're both obviously enjoying each other's company. It's a great little scene, which we don't know if it's going to go anywhere or not, but you kind of think, but you're not sure. But we do end up going back to Dr. Sharon's place. She's watching Lust Conquers All Stars.
It's the final.
The final. Ted calls her from the pub. He's playing the Wizard of Oz pinball machine. And he says, I'm going to call you every 20 minutes, standard concussion protocol. But I'm going to change my voice every time I call you so it stays exciting for you. So he does Kermit the Frog, and Sudeikis has a mean Kermit the Frog.
He does do it
really
good.
And he does a good Miss Piggy later in the call as well.
It's true, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She says, I'm fine, Coach Lasso, so he has to do Sling Blade. And I'll talk to you in 20. It's funny because it just says, and I'll talk to you in 20 minutes. Sling Blade. Mm-hmm. Like that. He has to say the movie title. Just,
tell her who it is. She won't know.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because like just before he ends the call, she like basically sort of she practices what she's kind of been like preached to about, where she like opens up to and says, "Thanks. I was scared before, and you like put my mind at ease. You took my mind off everything."
We get that lovely shot, don't we?
Yeah, and as Ted's like about to sort of do a Tedism, she goes, "No, don't do that. I just wanted to tell you that." And then Ted kind of realized, okay, she's opening the doors to like the back and forth here now.
I've got her, she's got me. Yeah.
We've
met in the middle, which is literally what this episode could have been called. It is. I will also say though, it's the fact that that pinball machine would not be in that pub, because that pinball machine is worth about $8,000. I believe the original Wizard of Oz pinball machine.
I love the idea that Sharon and Ted are finally, they're finally like we've always said since season 1, Ted gets on the same page with people. Or they get on the same page with Ted, maybe is a better way to say it. But
did you hear the background information of like the show she was listening to? Was it Lust Island? Lust
Conquers All Stars, yeah.
The guy who wins it is the guy that was up for eviction with Jamie.
Interesting.
Oh, really?
I missed that.
I think he was called like Tobogganson or something. That's probably not his name, because that's not a real name, is it? But yeah, it was the guy that was up against it. He's just a little, again, like we said before,
little stuff. Continuity. They've got
those little seeds you sow throughout.
Yeah, they've got continuity throughout this whole series. We get the next bit with Sam. He's walked Rebecca to her front door. They're both laughing. He compliments her bag, and it's a huge bag. She reminds him that this wasn't a date. He says, "Okay, can we not do this again sometime?" He's smitten with her, guys. We see that a mile away. Who wouldn't be, right? He's reluctantly agreeing with her, and he says, "Look, we got a big game on Sunday. We both need our rest." But she kisses him out of the blue, and then she goes in and she tells him goodnight, shuts the door. And if you see through the glass, he stands there for a long time.
He kind of like has his head in his hands, doesn't he? As well, like
it's very Richard Curtis.
Yeah. I was thinking that, because the way it's shot as well, where like she goes in, she leans against the door, and he's stood there with like his head in his hands, and he's just like, eventually walks away.
She was going to open up the door and go, it was all a test. No, she put down the barrier.
Well, because she kisses him, and then she goes, because like obviously she wants more to happen, but she's got like business Rebecca's head on at the same time.
Exactly. What could have helped there was a little phone call, couldn't it? Keely, shag him.
Right. They what's cool is the next bit. We're finally approaching game time here, kids. The name of this episode is Man City, after all. They walk out of the pitch in Wembley Stadium with a big orchestra playing behind it for the scene. They're taking it all in. Ted tries to give a pep talk. It's not working out too good, because he says, "I want you to close your eyes, look around." I mean, well, you know what I mean. Just open them up and take it all in. Remember, this right here behind me, it's just a regular old football pitch. Take away the stadium and all the stands, you'll find it's the exact same size our pitch back home on Nelson Road. Beard goes, "Not exactly." And Ted's like, "What's that?" Just he didn't expect Beard to interrupt him.
No, Bed's done his search, mate. Bed's
So
done his
good.
research on this.
Well, it's like when we went to All In, and they kept referring to it as like historical Wembley Stadium. It's like it's a different stadium.
Give me the lowdown on this. Why are there?
There used to be a Wembley Stadium that was over there. They knocked that down. They built a new one over here.
So
Wembley
what?
records from about 1992-ish or something. I don't know. When did the other one get knocked down?
It was well after 92. It was like 2000.
Ah, well, yeah.
Was it outdated? Was it falling down? Why they?
Different building.
It was an old ground, but they just essentially wanted to expand it. So the easiest way to expand it was to demolish the old Wembley and build a new one down the road.
What was the feeling for everybody over there? Were you guys like, are you crazy? Was that the feeling or no?
What do you mean, like within them demolishing it?
Yeah, because it'd been there, I assume, for a hell of a long time. Do you know what I mean?
It's England's like international home ground. Like a lot of like international like teams, their home ground will just be like a ground in the capital city that a club team will use. Like France, for example, is the Parc des Princes in Paris, which Paris Saint-Germain also use. Wembley is like England's actual home ground. Like only England use it. With the exception of when Spurs got their new ground built and it got delayed, so they had to use Wembley. But don't worry about that. Other than that, it's used for FA Cup games, League Cup games, usually the FA Cup semi-final and final, and the League Cup final, and then like a couple of other like playoff finals and stuff like that. But I think when it got demolished, if I remember rightly, it was because the capacity of the ground was smaller than some of the Premier League teams, and they wanted the home ground of English football to be in the biggest ground in the country because money, which is why now they built that new Wembley, and I think that opened about 10, 15 years ago. May have been less. Just double check the date. But I mean, it's massive. It's the biggest stadium I've ever been in, for sure.
If I was in Wembley watching a football match, I would be like, okay, I can pretty much see everything no matter where I was sat. Like, it's designed with fans in mind.
Yeah.
Like, it's only with wrestling and stuff where they put artificial structures in there and stuff that it becomes something of a difference. But yeah, I like Wembley.
It's definitely designed for more like concerts and things on the pitch as opposed to a wrestling show, for sure. But it is good. So it was 2007 that one opened.
Oh wow.
Prior to that, Wembley Stadium was from 1923 to 2000 it closed. So and then it was demolished. It was demolished in 2000.
I'm sure they had to hold like football finals elsewhere, didn't they, for a while?
Yeah, they held them in the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff for a couple of years. So I was a little bit wrong about the original Wembley Stadium with the capacity. It was more of like a safety thing. So essentially, it was
all stands, weren't it?
Yeah, there was a lot of standing, which got outlawed pretty much from all. Like it's gradually coming back.
I don't need that.
Yeah, I don't want that. But it is gradually coming back. But essentially, it was like you could have 82,000 in the original standing capacity, which was later boosted up to 125,000, and then 100,000 seating. Yeah. Which the current
measure everyone's weight as they come in and go. You stand on the fat side.
Yeah. The current Wembley seating for a football match is 90,000.
All seating, by the way. All seating.
Yeah. And it's all seating now. And so it's 90,000, and then I think when they've got the floor seating as well, that would add another 8,000. Yeah.
No, just 8.
Oh, just 8.
8 seats.
Just throwing spotted around.
Yeah.
It's folding chairs.
Sitting there going,
it's just folding chairs. It's just a folding chair. Yeah. I was curious, so I'm glad I asked. It what kills me, guys, in this spot here, I say spot. See that? It's pro wrestling stuff. In this scene is that Ted not only didn't know that about the size of the pitch, he also didn't realize that Queen didn't play here. That part's not a big deal killer. But guys, here's what I'm asking. I love hang on. I was gonna say I love the Ted Lasso character. I love Ted. I'm a big fan. But you're the coach of this team. Do you guys ever felt like the character at any given point, did he ever learn? Because to this day, he doesn't know what offsides is, why the penalty happened. What? Isn't that crazy?
Up to this point, he doesn't know what offsides is, but he does learn it in the end. But also, he does say, this is the Wembley Stadium that Queen apparently did not play at.
They had to correct him, though. They corrected him.
Did they? I thought he said
yes.
They did.
He
says it. He points over to the goal and he goes, Freddie Mercury played right over there, and Beard goes.
I watched him play over there. It's like, no, you didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. The thing is with the players, it doesn't matter that it's a different ground.
No,
Yeah.
it's the
It's
heritage.
the name. Yeah. It's name value alone. It doesn't matter that it's moved like down the road from where it originally was.
It's always been England's ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
Playing there is a tremendous thing to be able to do.
It blows my mind that character, if any of this were real, it's weird to me.
How much of this is Ted knowing this, and how much is Ted of him just doing it so other people can like feel better over him? Like, I didn't know that all football pitches weren't the same size. I thought they were all the same
didn't
size.
know.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't know that.
Well, it's why like there's obviously the home and away advantages, because there's different teams that will have like longer pitches because it's suited to their style of play. And
I mean,
then there's
Ratcliffe Borough near me, their pitch slope has an actual slope.
So is Newcastle's.
Yeah.
Before they leave the pitch, Jamie stops and yells Richmond, which is a nice touch.
Richmond!
Yeah.
We go to game day, kids. We're finally here. Have you been tracking the time? Again, this show's not about football. What can I tell you? It's really not. But the crowd is singing along to Blue Moon by the Marcells, and the fans are singing along. You guys love to sing in sporting events, man. It's kind of cool because everyone's usually together in uniform. And over here, everyone's dumb, and they just chant weird stuff instead of singing. And like,
thing is, I'd rather go to a wrestling event and sing Judas at Chris Jericho than I'd rather sing Blue Moon.
So is this a Man City thing, Jay?
A lot of football clubs will have like a song they play when they're walking out on the pitch. So Man City, Blue Moon, Liverpool have You'll Never Walk Alone by Jerry and the Pacemakers.
Who, ironically, all have pacemakers now.
Yeah. West Ham come out I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles, which is why when we see them
I think,
at a later point, there's loads of bubbles on the pitch.
Yeah.
Arsenal actually play wrestling theme songs because they're
I know they do, and I'm quite on board with it because they did do a lot of Bray Wyatt stuff after Bray Wyatt's death, and I was like, fine.
For the whole of half time, they played all of Bray's entrance music, which was quite cool.
I caught some of that, yeah.
Everton have Fandango's theme for some reason.
That's fucking ace.
So they come on the pitch to Dam Busters, but then Fandango did like a tour of Everton and he gave him a shirt, so now they play his entrance music.
That's amazing. I love this shit. I have to say, every day's a learning day.
I'm trying to think what other songs. Newcastle come out to Local Hero by Mark Knopfler, which is just like a really good saxophone. So
this is for Two Nations Under Ted After Dark. It won't be hidden behind a paywall, but it'll be hidden behind a wall. You have to fight your way around.
This will make the anthology cut of the series. So there you go. What's cool is not cool, but awkward, I should say, is Jamie's dad and his two idiot friends pushing their way through the crowd to get their seats that they didn't deserve at all. By the way, Kieran O'Brien as James Tart is great. You're supposed to hate him. He's fantastic. He's obnoxious and just a dick, like Jamie said. And you can tell everyone around him, they're all like, oh, these three guys. You notice that it looks like they snuck booze in because it looks like he's pulling something out. Yeah. Dude.
Right.
Good luck doing that in Wembley.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Good luck doing that one in Wembley.
Jamie's dad is...
Right. Hey, he's sat in like a pretty nice spot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
he's sat in like all the old people? Is that a section in football?
So he's been put down. If Higgins put him down in the VIP bit, what that usually is like players, like friends and families, but also like
because I was wondering why no one was just like. I wondered why no one was kicking the fuck out of him. To be honest,
no, it will. It'll be.
He also knows that no one's going to kick the fuck out of him, doesn't he?
Yeah,
because they're all old people and.
Yeah, a lot of the tickets there will be corporate tickets, so
yeah.
There'll be people who are just there because they've got free tickets from.
He
like,
comes in, him and his mates doing Johnny Big trousers. They've managed to sneak 4 cans of lager in their trousers. And I was just like, oh, Christ, this is the worst.
And they're all
people.
wearing Man City jerseys. He's got Jamie's Man City jersey on because they're Man
Oh, yeah,
City
'cause
fans.
he can only get seats. He can only get tickets for it by leeching off his son. So he's done that knobhead thing of sitting in the home side. Well, he's sitting in the opposite. It's just not. There's no home away, is there? It's a Wembley.
Yeah,
but
with that, it's so with a cup game, it'll literally be split 50-50. But then it's more realistically, it's more like 45, 10. So he'll be in like the 10 bit where it's all like the kind of friends, family, corporate.
He's mouthing off though. He's mouthing off, and they're like, "Oh yeah, my son's down there. My son is doing this."
My son got me these. Not that he's playing for the right team, was one of the things he said.
Swear to God, he's like literally the best thing that's ever come out of your scrotum.
He is entertaining. We know he's horrible, but the way he talks,
he's supposed to be a horrible person, but he's so
funny.
Horrible. I hate him viscerally to my core.
Because, like, if you're around him, you wouldn't want to be around him. But he's also
I wouldn't be his mate. I wouldn't be a bug or a Johnny Tremendous, or whatever he was called. Like I wouldn't be his friend.
He is offensive to a point, and then he'll pull back because he doesn't really want to get into a fight with anybody. Do you know what I mean?
But that's a Mancunian thing of like, oh no, I was only messing, mate.
Yeah.
I was only messing.
He does it later,
no,
too.
No, you're oh, no. Yeah, I know he does. And that's what makes me think someone's done research. Yeah.
We see, this whole show. Yeah, the nuanced scenes in this show is, the way they piece it together is awesome. Join the Untitled Wrestling Podcast for all the latest pro wrestling news from around the world. Want to dive deeper? Interviews, fantasy booking, roundtable discussions, quizzes, video game streaming, watch-alongs, and a lot more can all be found on YouTube and wherever podcasts are available. You can also find the show on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Untitled Wrestling Podcast, and Twitter, Twitch, and Discord at Untitled Rest Pod. Follow, subscribe, and download today. We see Paul, Jeremy, and Baz in the pub. And Baz says, we win this match, we get Richmond tattoos. May says, already got one. Jeremy says, where? She goes, mind your fucking business, which is great. It's awesome because we get this scene. There's this photo, and trust me, I'm the guy what does the thumbnails for this series, okay? But this photo of all the coaches backstage putting their hands in, backstage, God, the pro wrestling stuff, putting their hands in this together in this room has made the rounds. It's one of those Ted Lasso circulated photos, but like this comes about because Ted is doing deep breathing exercises, and Beard notices this, and he's like, "Okay, coach." And you can tell, like, is he having a heart attack? What's going on? Yeah.
No, it's lovely that Beard notices first because he's shit. That's my mate, and
it's true.
Okay, like anyone would. Like if you notice your mate's acting weird,
yeah,
and we just get this lovely scene. Go on, sorry.
Oh, it's awesome. It is lovely. It's these guys as a core, except for one of them who keeps turning and sliding down the hill. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I was gonna say, I picked up on I think what you're about to say with Nate. So first of all, like when Beard asks if Ted's okay, Nate's first thing is, "Oh, you're not gonna have food poisoning again, are you?" But the way he says it's a bit dismissive about it, almost like he's hoping that something will happen so he can step in and be the wonderkind again. And Roy's like, "You didn't have any prawn cocktail, did you, Ted?"
But then Ted goes, "Oh God, no!" Like he's like very dismissive. No one eats a prawn cocktail.
So yeah, then Higgins comes in and like kind of to usher them to.
He goes,
say "It's time."
It's time. It's like a hanging.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
What's interesting there is that like it's something they don't show often, but they're obviously showing it here, which is cool. Is that when like there's the walkout on the pitch, the players will always go first, and then the coaching staff will follow. So it's cool that they've done that where like the team's already in the tunnel at this point when this moment's happening. Yeah, and then as they're all leaving, Ted kind of like opens up about his anxiety and telling them then prompts all of them to kind of like admit to something that was like sort of like they felt like it was a bit of a stigma of something that they were doing. So like Higgins said, he messed up the time difference on the transfer deadline, so they missed out on a player. Roy said he doesn't read the scout reports. And Nate
never going to.
Nate kind of his reaction when Ted mentions the anxiety is almost like disdain for it, like almost like disgust. And then when Nate says his thing, it's like, oh well, I've been sitting on these ideas for ages. I just act like they've just come to me because it makes me look better. It's like, well, that's not like a stigmatizing thing that you kind of want to admit to among friends, is it?
Very, very weak thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, as we've already discussed, Nate is a weak person. Like, it is that thing. But like Coach Beard then goes, I was on mushrooms for an entire match. And then Roy goes like, Port Vale? Was it Port Vale?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he goes, like, they knew, like, they got each other's backs. Like, Ted's formed this weird union of misfits.
Yeah, I love the fact that he goes, it won't happen again. And then everyone asks him how. And then he was like, oh, well, me and Jane, like, drank from the wrong teapot.
I drank from that.
My favourite part, though, is Ted's not bothered about the mushrooms bit. He's more bothered that Beard drank tea.
Oh shit! Yeah,
it's awesome.
He's like,
when
were you going to tell me?
Oh, that's an ongoing thing as well. Yeah. Oh.
Hey, look,
yeah.
This moment is great. We all had a laugh. This is going to come back in a big bad way, thanks to Mr. Shelley. Thanks to Mr. Shelley, who's going to go doing this. Yeah. Because it triggered my memory.
Is it all his fault? Is it some of it his fault? Is it mostly his fault? We don't know. Because they start the match, don't they? They start getting buried by.
Oh, dude, yeah, they're
like I know it's only from like a set position angle and stuff, but they're getting buried by
big time.
Oh,
easy goals, I'll say.
They're 4-0 down at half time, aren't they? Or 3-0 down. 3-0 down at half time.
3-0 down at half times. Nate is like, it's never too early to park the bus. He does say that, right? And he's like, we can just sit back and rely on 3-0 down, like, as a win.
I think Nate's wanting to go back to that tactic that helped them in the last game against Spurs. That's
it. That's exactly it. He's like, it worked for me before, it worked for me again. I'm a magic boy.
Because Ted's got Beard in one ear and Nate in the other. And this is where like the dissension starts to sort of creep in, because Ted just kind of brushes both of them off and starts trying to like uplift the players. And doesn't actually make a tactical change.
Yeah.
And you see that Beard isn't happy about this. Nate certainly isn't happy about this.
No.
Then it goes to the second half, obviously. Richmond score an own goal really early on. And
who is that guy that scores the own goal, by the way?
Oh, I think he's just one of the sort of like background players. He wasn't anyone I recognised. And
No.
Nate pipes up and gets in actual Premier League referee Mike Dean's face.
I swear to God. Yeah, this made me chuckle when I was like, that's Mike Dean.
Yeah.
Cause me dickless wonder.
When you wipe the shit out of your eyes, you dickless wonder. And he comes over. And I was like, is it like wrestling where referees can like banish people from the sidelines? Yeah. And it turns out there's been countless examples of this throughout the years.
Yeah, so Nate gets a yellow card and sent. He doesn't get sent to the stand. He just gets a yellow, not a red. But he gets a warning basically.
He goes down. He sits down, and Roy like sort of pats his arm.
Roy shows him a bit of respect here.
Roy's like, okay, yeah, you fucking like you're wrong, but you.
Well, Roy probably fucking hates Mike Dean. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair too.
Yeah, then almost immediately after they get a penalty, which was never a penalty. Oh, latest handball I've ever fucking seen. Well,
Chris and Arlo are on the call, and Chris says Mike Dean's not going to change his mind after you called him dickless.
Yeah, which they wouldn't have been able to hear that, so I don't know how they know. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's never a penalty there, and that was a little in joke where people have accused referees of, if like you say something to them, they're going to punish you, and not be impartial in the job. Which, I mean, I've certainly been on either side of that one.
Happens in this country all the time.
Yeah, but yeah, it was never a penalty that. But after the match, obviously the whole team's dejected. Again, do you notice they're all sat round like in the dressing room, and Will goes, even though Nate's been a piece of shit to him.
Oh, I swear to God, this made me gag.
Will goes to give him a drink, and he doesn't even acknowledge him. He just
like fucking... I miss that actually.
Oh yeah. No. He gets around and he doesn't even go, nah, I'm all right. He just doesn't do anything.
Ignores him. Yeah. And you could say obviously it's because he's like kind of crestfallen from what's happened, but also at the same time it's like
he's a dick.
Probably Nate. Probably Nate just thinking he's above Will.
Yeah.
And well, a couple things here is that one, Sam is getting interviewed before the locker room scene happens. Really quick interview. And he sees Rebecca walking by and he smiles at her. He's trying to downplay it, but he smiles at her. And part two of this, when you go to the locker room, if you see Danny is favoring his leg big time. You see him, I mean, he constantly moved without saying a word. And you're like, Danny got injured before, right? Because when remember it was like he was inactive because of an injury and he was coming back in season 1.
Yeah.
So you're wondering, is he beat up? Because, man, it was like selling in wrestling where he's like, he kept doing this. And you're like, man, he got beat up during that game. You know what I mean? So I love the little details they put in.
I honestly didn't pick up on that, so thank you for that.
Well, this scene is. I was telling Joe before we went live on the mic here was that I made the mistake of watching this again directly before we started recording. I had tears in my eyes again because Jamie's dad, worms his way into the locker room and he's having a go at him and just giving him shit. His own son in front of his teammates, in front of his friends and his coaches.
It's not even that. It's the fact is that, like, the security guy goes in and goes, oh, there's someone here to see you. He claims he's your dad.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jamie goes like, he's with all his mates. He doesn't want his knobhead dad coming in here. Like, but it's like, Christ, it's my dad. I know I've got to go and do this. So he's like, yeah. And then the first thing his dad does is come in and go, yeah, I told you he's dad. And like he like insults. I can't remember what he says, but he insults like the doorman, like the security guard, for like not letting him in. And then
I told you, Dick. Yeah.
Oh, mate. Like we've spoke many times about the worst parts of this series and all the things that hurt me the most. But looking at this scene and then looking back at the scene when he throws that shoe at Jamie in like season 1, episode 8 or whatever it is, like it hurts more because of this scene. Because he comes in and he's acting like he's Charlie Big Potato and he's like, oh, I'll City have won. Like, why would you go into another team's locker room when you've lost, when you've humiliatingly lost 5-0? Like, that's humiliating. Yeah. Like, I don't know much about sports. I know that 5-0 in American football would be a very boring match, but like whatever. But in British sports, like that's bad.
Yeah.
And so for him to come in there, so for him to come in there and start mouthing off and like acting like, oh God, I can't comprehend it. I really can't comprehend how he would think that is acceptable behavior. And I
Yeah.
know it isn't, and I know he knows it's not. And
Well, his dad's like, as Jamie said earlier on, every opportunity he gets to be a dickhead, he's going to be a dickhead. As you said as well, Joe, like he does the whole no offense, not trying to offend you, and all that.
Yeah.
As he's saying the stuff, I think Phil Dunster's acting in this scene is outstanding. He doesn't say a lot; it's all his face, but he's incredible in the scene. So yeah, his dad gets in his face and he asks if like Jamie can get like him and his mates on the pitch to take a few pictures. He goes, "No, I don't want to do that." And he goes, "What?" I was like, "I don't want to do that." And then he says something to Jamie, and Jamie just like knocks him on his ass.
Tom, do you have the exact dialogue? Because I'm guessing you do.
I do. He says, well, let's see if you can hear this. You know that Ickle TV show you made? You made it easier for Manchester City to kick you to the curb. And look where you are now, twaddling about with a bunch of amateurs. No offense, no offense. He grabs Jamie and says, "Don't turn your back on me, you pussy." And that's when Jamie punches him.
It's that thing, though, as well, of him going, "Bunch of pussies." No offense, no offense. And he looks around, and I'm like, all of those men are elite physical condition. One kick to the face would kill you, you wino old shitehawk of a man.
I think as well, though, like they're letting Jamie just handle his business here.
I was kind of like, why has no one stepped in for Jamie? Because he's a boy. He's a boy now. Like,
so when Jamie's like standing up to him, it's like Jamie the man. As soon as he throws that punch, it's like he reverts to being like a little boy, like the look on his face, and he's fighting back tears. And then Beard grabs his dad and like drags him out, and then just slams his head against the door and goes, "Oops,
mind the door, mind the door, watch the door."
Yeah.
Watch the door.
I think
that's not going to come back to haunt him.
So I can't remember how this plays out. Obviously, we'll know a bit more from the next episode. But I feel like Beard's pissed off, not just about the game at this point. He's pissed off at Ted for not getting involved, because Ted's just kind of stood there like a lemon, isn't he? And obviously we know why after this scene. But you think Beard's got like it comes across as if Beard's got a little bit of animosity towards Ted because of this scene.
At this point, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the most powerful part of it is Roy.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah.
If we can somehow superimpose this bit of just Roy going and just hugging Jamie.
crazy.
It literally made me cry.
Did you see when Brett Goldstein got?
And
he does that Roy walk where his arms are like this, like no human walks this way. It's like because Roy has to project this image of a silverback. You know what I mean? He's the alpha male, and he has to put his chest out.
You
know what I mean?
There as well. Everyone in that locker room was like, "I don't want to be the first person to go and just hug him."
Yeah. Did you notice when he came up on top of him that Phil Dunster, he reacted like this? Because it's Roy walking up onto Jamie Tart. And so Jamie Tart's instinctively like, oh, is he going to punch me?
You know
because
why?
they've never been friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know why this show is beautiful? For shit like that.
Exactly. So good. Yeah. And also for the next scene, because Ted had stepped out, Jay, to call Dr. Sharon and admitted the truth.
This, like, okay, like, we've got, like, Jamie doesn't like his dad, and, okay, right, fine. But Roy's come and hugged him, so that's like a big thing for him. Like, they're both friends now.
It cuts to Dr. Sharon, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And she answers the call, and you don't know what's going on.
Mm.
And like she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry about the loss, Ted. Thanks for the bike. You didn't need to do that." At this point, she's fully kind of like let her guard down and met Ted in the middle. And it's just like when Ted's not answered, and then she's like, "What's wrong?" And then Ted obviously reveals that when he was 16, his father killed himself. And oh boy, with the way they kind of like did that, where it was like right, that was a really, really hard to watch scene in the last one. And then it's kind of, is it coming back a bit to like, maybe not lighthearted, but a little bit more like upbeat. And then it says that, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is big. And then she asks if Ted wants to talk about it. He says, not right now. And then this is what like the kind of like final little like blow of the episode before we do get like a little bit of a happy ending, where Beard comes out and you can tell he's pissed off at Ted.
I don't think he's pissed off at Ted. I think he's just pissed off at all of it.
I think he's definitely pissed off at all of it, but I think he's definitely got his issues with Ted in the scene. Because I
disagree, but okay.
Only because like he had the frustration with Ted in the match where he like falls over the barrier, and then
Ted wasn't there. They let Nate do a fucking training session before the big match. Like,
it's through no fault of Ted's own, but I do think Beard is a little bit more frustrated with Ted than
especially
normal.
with the
So then Beards basically says, I'm not going on the bus, I need to walk this one off, which the walk from Wembley to Richmond, I forgot to Google how long it is, but it ain't a short walk.
It's not a short walk at all.
I was going to say, getting from Wembley into London's like a 45-minute drive.
Yeah.
So, Beard must have been walking for some time.
Well, as we find out later on, Beard has a very interesting evening.
We'll get to in next week's episode.
Oh, I can't wait.
I love that episode so much.
When I watched it, I was like, this is the worst episode. And then I've gone back and I'm like, this is the best episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you, Jay. I think Beard's pissed. But I don't think I hate this guy's guts. I think it's in season 1 when he showed his frustration in the bar and slammed his hand on the table. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
Why are we? I thought we were here to win. We're here to mold them into. They're not college kids. He's got a point.
Yeah, that's got a point.
It's his competitive spirit, I think, more than anything.
Yeah.
But also, having to spend hours upon hours staring at Roy Kent.
No, and he probably wants to.
I could be doing something there. I could be like.
But what's interesting with the scene is that obviously Ted's on the phone. He hangs up and he's still crying his eyes out, and then he hears Beard's voice, and Beard says, "Are you okay, coach?" And Ted's just trying to like act like everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think in that moment, if Ted had have kind of opened up to Beard a little bit more, that scene plays out differently. Is the point I was trying to make. Really, was that you can tell Beard's annoyed at Ted, but because of like the lack of like, just because the manner of defeat, and I do think as well because Ted didn't get involved with the whole Jamie's dad thing, but it only takes Ted just to kind of like open up to Beard there and just explain why he didn't, and then that could potentially be a different situation because obviously Beard walks off, flips Ted the bird, and then
bird for the bird, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's when as well like Ted's like kind of trying to have a normal conversation like, oh yeah, Beard, it's your turn to get coffee tomorrow morning. And you can tell Beard just wants to get out of there.
Yeah, Beard's not into that. I picked up on that way. He's like,
fine, whatever.
I'm gone. I'm gone, baby.
He stops him like 3 times. And you know why? Ted knows Beard's upset. And it's like, you want your friend to be good. You want him to be good with you. So he keeps stopping Beard to be sure Beard's good. But Beard is trying to hide it. It's hard for him to hide because Beard's like, I'm not good. But what's funny to me is that he offered for Ted to come with him in the beginning. He said, you want to come? And I'm thinking, you should have went. Like, we wouldn't have got Beard after hours, but if the two of them had been alone for an entire evening away from the team, maybe they could have talked some things out. I don't know.
I don't think Beard was ever going to be not going out to stomp about.
I think Beard just wanted to get away from everything at that point.
Well, we do end on a good note here, kids, because Rebecca and Sam, sparks fly. I'm just saying.
All the things that could have happened, this is the one thing I would have believed in.
Well, this show, like we said in the beginning, guys, hills and valleys, highs and lows. We end on a high, because these two people they're awesome. And are they awesome together? We'll find out.
We will.
So
we will.
There's your tease.
Yeah, I really like Sam's post-match interview he does here.
Yeah.
This is one of those beautiful things that should be written about because it's so well done. What was the line? He's like,
well, he says, we're disappointed, but we tried. And trying is scary because you can lose a lot, but you have to put your heart out there. So Rebecca is hearing, put your heart over here. And I know this is scary, but we've got something. You know what I mean? That's what she hears. I don't think she hears anything about the team. Obviously, there's a double meaning here. And she texts him on the Banter app and says, I saw your interview. Are you around? He immediately sends her his address.
She goes to send it on Banter, and then she sends it to his personal number.
That's right. She does. That's right. Because she has it now.
The other thing as well with this interview is that literally they deliberately frame it before that he looks over and sees Rebecca and waves at her.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And then he starts saying this, and it's like, that's perfectly. And she knows because she looks and she saw him and wave at her.
Yeah.
So she knows it's as much directed at her as it is to the fans.
That's true. Very true. Yeah. But she's going to go to his house, and she opens the door, and he's standing right there. And she says, why'd you send me your address? He says, for next time. Sam's a charmer, dude. Are you kidding me?
Oh, man.
If she hadn't have, like...
He's the smoothest boy who's ever been invented. He would have just gone...
Just knocked on the door.
Yeah, this was such a tough episode, but I'm glad that we ended on a high note anyway. We don't know where it's going to end up. But that's why we're doing the show, kids, because we'll all find out together, or you'll find out again, and we'll find out again. It'd be a combination of the two. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is episode 8, season 2. Good stuff. In the grand scheme of things, Joe, and we'll use this as our takeaways, right? In the grand scheme of things, how important do you think this episode is for the characters anyway?
Everything becomes apparent in this episode. Like, Dr. Sharon can no longer hide behind her fake intelligence. She has to just deal with Ted on her actual axis. Like, the whole thing is just... I think this is legitimately the midpoint of the entire episodes.
I think it is the midpoint of the entire series, yeah.
This is episode 18. Yep, and there's 34 episodes total.
Yeah.
This is the tipping point. This is where all the things that need to come into play. I feel like I've reached a point with Ted Lasso where I cannot say any more about how much I think it is legitimately one of the greatest shows ever made. I watched the episode today, and I completely forgot about all the Roy hugging. Just walking over and hugging Jamie, and I literally started crying. I couldn't stop at my desk at work. So good night.
Jay, take it home from me, man. What do you think?
Yeah, to echo what Joe said about it being the tipping point, I definitely think there's a lot. As I say, the kind of like theme of this episode was meeting people in the middle. There's a lot of that with Ted and Sharon. There's a lot of that with Roy and Jamie, and with Sam and Rebecca as well. There is obviously a lot more to come, but I think that this is kind of where the House of Cards comes falling down, careening into the end of the season 2 before we get to everything going nice again in season 3. We're in the dark forest now, as Ted would put it.
Ooh, well done. Well said.
Yeah, this episode is not the easiest one to go back and rewatch because there's a lot of really hard moments to kind of have to rewatch, but it's executed masterfully, I think.
It is. I mean, the brains behind this show are, I mean, no one's even on par with this creative team. I'm telling you, this
galactic brains.
So amazing. So amazing. And So well done. So well done. Kids, we got a lot more to go. We are just, as we pointed out here today, just over the midpoint of this entire series. We still got a lot more to go, kids. So we thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming along for the ride. We hope you've enjoyed it. Remember to visit boinkstudios.com, B-O-I-N-K Studios, boinkstudios, one word.com. And when you get there, you'll see links to all the podcast platforms for this show and 2 other shows that we have as well. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. When you go to that website, not only when you get those links, you'll also get social media links and links to Joe and Jay's podcast as well. So everything you could possibly hope to get, you can get it right there, including this show. So check us out. We appreciate you very much. Share the show on your socials. Follow everywhere that we are. Thanks, kids, much. Be on the lookout. Episode 9's coming soon. Be ready. Joe's ready. We hope you guys are ready. Hang on, it's coming soon, because I'm telling you, when we get there, Beard After Hours, if you haven't seen it, oh my God, brace yourselves. Hold on to something, because it's fun. Don't listen to critics. We're the 3 you should listen to. You want to know why? Because we're fair, and we also love this show. We're not haters. I'm saying,
to be fair, we are like the.
To be fair, we're biased.
And the anus of everything.
We're extremely heavily biased, to be fair. So thanks again, kids. That's it for us. We'll see you next time. We appreciate you very much. For Joe and for Jay, I'm Tom. See you next time, kids.